Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I had a bunch of new products I wanted to play with, plus I had a few items that I had promised some reviews on, a palette from my Ipsy, some lip creams from ATHR, we tried a new blush, we tried some powder from Makeup Forever, we've got a whole and a new mascara that I'm really quite excited about. Like, I usually would put on a falsie, and I didn't need to today. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching, and don't forget to subscribe, because I upload every other day, and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to jump into this look right here with me, stay tuned. Alright, so my base is already done because I didn't think I had anything I really wanted to talk about that was exciting, and I did end up trying two new things, so I do want to give both of them a quick shout out. They were both sent to me, but none of this is sponsored. I tried the new Makeup Forever Setting Powder Matte Setting Powder. This is in the shade 2, and I used it to set down my complexion today, and I don't feel shiny, but I also don't feel like I'm too matte. I did add a little bit of highlighter, but I'm really happy with how that turned out. And for skin prep, I started with the Look Alive Face Moisturizer with CBD from the brand Happy Dance. This is Kristen Bell's new line of CBD skincare, and it was really nourishing and hydrating. It felt really nice on the skin. It was a nice emollient. It didn't feel too silicone-y or like with too much slip, so very rich. I do think it would be nice and hydrating for someone who's dry, but for someone like me who's more on the normal to oily side, I don't think it made me look greasy. I think it just kind of allowed the matte powder and the matte foundation to not look dry and cakey. So that is the new combo that I tried today with my normal foundation routine. And I did promise you guys in a most recent video that I was going to do a look with this palette. And I did talk about a Jouer lip gloss I got, and I want to kind of put them together. So we're going to do like cool tone smoky eye with a bold red lip. And I'm going to use the palette from the Ipsy that you all asked to see a tutorial with. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush and go into this taupey brown right here and start diffusing that into the crease. Like I said in that video, it wouldn't be a product review, it would just be a tutorial because I already know I love this product because I actually own the number 2 palette. So when I got the number 1 in the mail, again, I knew I was going to like the formula. It was just about playing with the colors. Going into a denser brush, I'm going to take a little bit more of that same color, and I'm going to just pat that under the crease and then blend that into the socket. Because I want this to be a really cool toned smoky eye, I want to make sure that we get a nice concentration of that color. And then once I feel like I like where it is, I'm going to turn that brush on the side and just blend it upwards. Back into that first brush, I'm just going to blend those edges. Back into the fluffy brush, we're going to jump into that really dark brown in the top corner. And I'm going to take a decent amount of that, and we're going to concentrate it just on the outer C of the eye, just to add that definition, and just blend it out. And see how that gives us this really solid base to the smoky eye? Now that we have the general shape we want down, I'm going to jump up here into the light off-white color, and I'm going to take this above the brow bone, and then I'm going to blend down, and what that's going to do is it's just going to soften the crease and blend it all together, so that you get a little bit more of that like blown out smoky eye without, you see how this side still looks a little rough and unblended? It just kind of masks all that and brings it together. So one more time, just patting that color under the brow and then blending it down just to soften where all of those colors meet and come together so that everything becomes a little bit more blended. Then jumping into an angled brush, I'm going to mix those 2 browns, and I'm just going to take that right in the socket of the eye just to re-intensify that color. And once I feel like we get a little bit more of that shape back in, I'm going to take a bit more of that and just pull it down towards the lash line. That's going to help to lift the eye up so you get that more elongated, uplifted shape. Now, whenever I do a super cool toned eye, I want a little bit of warmth. So we're going to take the warm brown right here in the middle on that same first fluffy brush, and I'm going to take a very small amount of that and just run that through the crease. What that's going to do is it's going to make the crease look a little bit more brown and a little bit less taupey. And that's what's going to bring this whole thing to life, so that when we put it against a bold red lip, you're going to get that nice juxtaposition between the warm and the cool, but in a way where the cool tone of the eye doesn't look gray, but the lip doesn't look too orangey or out of place against a gray eye. Now, I always say when it comes to a smoky eye, number one, trust the process. It's going to look bad before it looks good. And number two, you want to make sure to blend. So I'm just going to take that time to just keep blending a little bit more. Now, before I do the lid, I want to do the lower lash. So I'm going to grab, this is the new Beauty for Real 24/7 gel eyeliner. They've had this formula. I already love this formula, but they did launch 3 new colors. This is the shade Storm, which is like a dark gray charcoal-y color. And I'm going to put that in the waterline, concentrating the most of the color on the outer corner. Now with this formula, if you blend it out while it's still wet, it will absolutely smudge and smoke out to give you that nice gradient. I don't want to do that today, so I'm going to kind of let it dry down and then blend around it, but I am going to grab a pencil brush to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that darkest brown shade, and I'm going to take that on the tip of a pencil brush and really just concentrate that color on the outermost area of the eye, just to add a little smokiness here. Then switching the brush around into that light brown color, I'm going to start at the inner corner, and I'm just going to blend back and forth. And then after I feel like it's blended, I'm going to then blend around the dark brown, just so everything becomes one cohesive, blended smoky eye. And once you blend like I did, you might want to take a little bit more of the dark brown close to that lash line, or it might be good, you might not need it. I blended a little more away than I wanted to, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit more back in. Now that we have the base of our taupey smoky eye, we're going to jump into our lid shade, and I think I want to use the champagne tone right here. So I'm going to press that onto my lid using a flat blender brush. And this is one of those formulas where you can absolutely apply it wet or dry. Dry is going to give you a little bit more of that like smooth finish, whereas if you use it wet, you're going to get more of that metallic shine. So I am going to mist my brush with a little bit of setting spray because I obviously want it to be a little bit more metallic. Okay, so that shade is actually performing more like a satin than a foil. I know that they do have satins in the palette too, so that just might not be one of the shimmer shades. Even when I swatched it, it was a little more of a satin finish. But I'm not mad at that because it will make the eyes feel a little bit softer, but I still want them to be a little more intense. So I'm going to jump into another palette. This is the ColourPop Hocus Pocus palette, and I'm going to take the shade Wench, which is kind of what I was hoping that this color would do. And I'm going to pick that up on a brush, and I'm going to take this on dry just to show you how much more metallic it is going into this color. See the difference? You can obviously get rid of, or you can obviously use something like this. It looks fine, but this is just much more intense. And in my opinion, what I'm going for today. Next product I want to talk about, I'm actually really excited about. This is a new mascara. This is the ATHR Beauty Big Bang Mascara, and I'm actually really excited. ATHR is one of my favorite brands because it is super clean, ethical, the works. But this mascara has literal black diamond powder in it, along with quinoa to help, it's a protein that'll condition the lashes. So I'm really excited to try this out. My lashes are already curled, and I'm just going to apply a thin layer of this because I hopefully don't have to put on a lash today. All right, this is it after just one coat, and I have to say it's very pretty. I think it's giving me some really nice definition to the lashes. It's not smudging or flaking onto the lash, which I think is nice. And it's really giving me length and curl, which is what I tend to look for the most in my lashes. So I'm going to go do a coat on this eye, possibly do a second coat, and I'll be right back to tie up the face with cheek and lip. All right, so next we're going to jump into lip, and I did mention that I got a Jouer lip gloss that is super pigmented, but the color's a little bit too warm for me, so I'm going to pair that with this full red artist colored pencil from Makeup Forever. I have been using Wherever Walnut as like the best nude liner for a while, like many, many years, but today we're going to try this lip color as our liner. All right, and now that we've lined, I think this is going to be a little too orange, so I'm going to jump into another new ATHR Beauty product. This is their Ruby Red lip cream in the shade Ruby. I think it's going to be, see how it's a little less orange and a little more blue based? I think that's going to be a little bit more complementary with the lip liner. Oh yeah, that's much better. I'm going to give that a second to dry down because we may end up putting the gloss on top anyway, but I want to see how this looks once it's dry, so I'll be right back. All right, and we have added some blush, and I think we're good to go. I am going to skip the lip gloss today because I really like the way this color looks, and I don't want much more to it. But this was a super simple, cool-toned eye with a nice red lip using a bunch of new products. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!